why did Dr. Ford wait all these years of her life while Brett Kavanaugh was influencing the judicial system all the way since 2000 at least? By the way, the sixth bipartisan FBI investigation that was conducted solely because of the newfound allegations did not result in any substantial evidence to support Dr. Ford's claim. She has not turned over her therapy records for the committee to review. I don't know why. Why didn't she turn her therapy records to the committee for review? That there's actually some physical abuse that happened in her life that she's hiding, which is the reason why she's not disclosing her therapy reports. Once those therapy reports have been revealed, we will know who actually caused trouble.
You've described this as being near the country club, wherever this house was. Is that right?
I would describe it as somewhere between my house and the country club, in that vicinity that's shown in your picture.
Okay.
And the country club is about a 20-minute drive from my parents' home.
A 20-minute drive, and of course I've marked as the crow flies.
Yes.
Would it be fair to say that somebody drove you somewhere, either to the party or home from the party?
Correct.
Okay. Has anyone come forward to say to you, hey, remember, I was the one that drove you home?
No.
Okay.
Dr. Ford has no memory of key details of the night in question, details that could help corroborate her account. She does not remember who invited her to the party or how she heard about it. She does not remember how she got to the party. She does not remember in what house the assault allegedly took place or where that house was located with any specificity. Perhaps most importantly, she does not remember how she got from the party back to her house. Her inability to remember this detail raises significant questions. She told the Washington Post that the party took place near the Columbia Country Club. The club is more than 7 miles from her childhood home as the crow flies, and she testified that it was a roughly 20-minute drive from her childhood home. She also agreed for the first time in her testimony that she has driven somewhere that night, either to the party or from the party or both. Dr. Ford was able to describe hiding in the bathroom, locking the door, and subsequently exiting the house. She also described wanting to make sure that she did not look like she had been attacked, but she has no memory of who drove her or when, nor has anyone come forward to identify him or herself as the driver. Given that this all took place before cell phones, arranging a ride home would not have been easy. Indeed, she stated that she ran out of the house after coming downstairs and did not state that she made a phone call from the house before she did, or that she called anyone else thereafter. She does, however, remember small, distinct details from the party unrelated to the assault. For example, she testified that she had exactly 1 beer at the party and was taking no medication at the time of the alleged assault. But from part 1 of this video, you do remember that she told the Washington Post and the committee that she was 15 when the assault allegedly occurred. She had not turned over her therapy records, but that's what she told. So if her age were 15 when the assault occurred and that she was saying she had exactly one beer and that she is not on medication. So I was wondering what was the legal age of drinking at that time. So she is 15 years old and she was drinking. So this is what bothers me, guys. You know, there are 2 questions here. Among all the questions, there are particular things that I want to focus on. For example, previously she did mention that she was 15 years old. At the beginning of her testimony, where she constantly corrected her dates several times, first she said mid-80s, and then she said early 80s, and then she said summer of the 80s, and then she said summer of 82. So let's stick to the summer of 82 as the date. But one of the striking things that you want to remember from that part of the testimony is that she did say that she was 15 to the Washington Post and to the committee. Okay, this is important, right? She did say she was 15. And now she says that she had exactly 1 beer and she was not on medication. Okay, now let's agree to her final date of the event. Her latest update on the date is that it's actually in the summer of 1982. Even though we couldn't figure out how she was able to narrow down the date, let's agree that she was right. Okay, now in 1982 in Maryland, Montgomery district, the legal drinking age is 21. Before it used to be 18, I think, and now it was back to 21. So it was never below 18. Okay, now that means that she was drinking at the age of 15 in 1982. No one wants to care about that, right? No one wants to ask that question. No one needs to bother. That is all can be ignored according to the Democrats. Interesting, right? The second question that bothers me is that she couldn't remember several important details about the incident, while she actually remembers how many drinks she had and that she was not on medication at that time. If she could remember specific details like that, but if I forget other kind of details. But again, she remembers the exact name of the person whom she never mentioned in her therapy reports. These questions we're not supposed to ask according to the Democrats. When I was 5 years old, I drowned in the ocean. I clearly remember trying to not swallow the salt water. Clearly remember how I drowned, how I was going into the waters to collect my sandals, and how my mom was behind me trying to save me, and how eventually it's one of my uncle who got me when I'm trying to come out and yell but I cannot shout because there's water in my mouth. I remember every detail. I remember what kind of food they fed me, how they removed all my clothes because I'm freezing and then put me in another blanket. I remember how I was feeling afraid and even shamed at the same time. That blanket that they covered me would fall, and what if it falls and everyone sees me? All these thoughts, and I just remember everything. I remember how we were driven to the hospital directly from there in an auto back in India to make sure that I'm all right. I remember every details. Now, someone might say that your drowning experience when you're only 5 years old is not as traumatic as the incident that Dr. Ford faced, or that the age at which Dr. Ford's incident happened is not as young as your age to be able to remember these details. I mean, someone might say that, but I find it unbelievable that she cannot remember any of these details. Dr. Ford's account of the alleged assault has not been corroborated by anyone she identified as having attended, including her lifelong friend. Dr. Ford has named 3 people other than Judge Kavanaugh who attended the party: Mark Judge, Patrick P.J. Smith, and her lifelong friend Kaiser. Dr. Ford testified to the committee that another boy attended the party but that she could not remember his name. No others have come forward. All 3 named eyewitnesses have submitted statements to the committee denying any memory of the party whatsoever. Remember, these were the witnesses that Dr. Ford chose. Keep in mind, I am not talking about any other individuals who came forward regarding the entire case. Right now, we are only talking about that night when the assault allegedly happened. No one came forward about that specific night other than the ones whom Dr. Ford identified as being present.
Would it be fair to say at least PJ, Brett Kavanaugh, Mark Judge, Leland Ingram at the time, and yourself were present, and possibly others?
And one other boy, so there were 4 boys. I just don't know the name of the other boy. So.
Have you been contacted by anybody saying, hey, I was at that party too?
No, I haven't talked with anyone from that party.
Okay.
Most relevantly, in her first statement to the committee, Mrs. Kaiser stated through counsel that, simply put, Mrs. Kaiser does not know Mr. Kavanaugh and she has no recollection of ever being at a party or gathering where he was present, with or without Dr. Ford. In a subsequent statement to the committee through counsel, Ms. Kaiser said that the simple and unchangeable truth is that she is unable to corroborate Dr. Ford's allegation because she has no recollection of the incident in question. Moreover, Dr. Ford testified that her friend Leland, apparently the only other girl at the party, did not follow up with Dr. Ford after the party to ask why she had suddenly disappeared. Dr. Ford has not offered a consistent account of the alleged assault. According to her letter to Senator Feinstein, Dr. Ford heard Judge Kavanaugh and Mark Judge talking to other partygoers downstairs while she was hiding in the bathroom. But according to her testimony, she could not hear them talking to anyone. In her letter, she stated, "I locked the door behind me. Both loudly stumbled down the stairwell, at which point other persons at the house were talking with them." She testified that Judge Kavanaugh or Mark Judge turned up the music in the bedroom so that the people downstairs could not hear her scream. She testified that after the incident, she ran into the bathroom, locked the door, and heard them going downstairs. But she maintained that she could not hear their conversation with others when they got downstairs. Instead, she testified that she assumed a conversation took place.
You said that the music was solely coming from that room. Is that correct?
Correct.
Okay. And it was turned up once the three of you were inside that room, is that correct?
Yes.
Okay. At some point, do you recall it being turned down?
I don't remember if it was turned down once I was leaving the house. I don't remember.
Okay.
Likely, since I could hear them walking down the stairs very clearly from the bathroom.
Okay. And the bathroom
Sure.
door was closed when you heard this, is that correct?
I could hear them very clearly hitting the walls going down the stairwell.
In fact, in your letter, you said that they went down the stairs and they were talking with other people in the house.
Correct.
Were you able to hear that conversation?
I was not able to hear that conversation, but I was aware that they were downstairs and that I would have to walk past them to get out of the house.
Okay. Now, let me make sure we're on the same page. Were you not able to hear the conversation or not able to understand the conversation?
I couldn't hear the conversation. I was upstairs.
Okay. How do you know there was a conversation?
I'm just assuming since it was a social gathering, people were talking.